let's talk about books. For the past year, I have kind of been getting back into reading, back into books. Book Talk has been such a big thing recently, and all of these books over here on this side of my bookshelf are books that I have read and books that I want to talk to you about. Behind me is my books to read. These is my TBR. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about books that I have read. Again, I'm going to preface this, not all of these books are for everyone, so if you don't like the book, I'm sorry, but I just want to talk, explain, share, and kind of go over some of them. Also, these are in no particular order. These are just books that I have read, books that I love, books I want to talk to you about. These are also not books on my Kindle Unlimited app. If you would like to see that video, let me know. I have read quite a lot on Kindle Unlimited, but these are just my physical copy books. Alright, the first one that I want to share with you is this series right here. This is the Natural series. Starts off with this book right here, The Naturals. This series is about teenagers that have these like natural abilities. So there's like profilers, there's a lie detector, there's an empath, and then there's one that's like really good at kind of math and diagrams and numbers. And this series is so good. It's like a young adult Criminal Minds series. It is YA, it is young adult, but it is so good. It's murder mystery. It's got like FBI in it. Just read this first book. You don't even have to read the whole series. Read the first book and just let me know if you like it, if you love it, what your thoughts are. And then you can go and read more about the other books in the series. I will say you do have to start at book 1 with this series. But after book 1, you're kind of just hooked. You're kind of here for it. And I will say I'm definitely getting into more of like murder mystery, especially after this series. Third and fourth book in the series, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. If you have read the series, you know that these two are the most informational. These two books, like, you have to force yourself to get through them, especially this one. It's not it. But this one, you kind of got to force yourself to get through. But they're both great. Like, finishing the series is so good. I honestly enjoyed it so much. And then I want to talk to you guys about my favorite author over here. These are just some of my Lucy Score books. Love Lucy Score so much. If you guys don't like spicy books, don't read these at all. Like, don't. I will start off with this book right here. This is By a Thread. This is a boss, employee, grumpy sunshine, comedic, amazing female main character. She is like empowerful, but like he's in touch with his emotions, but he's also not, but she is, but she's not. Like, so much happening in this one book, but I 100% recommend it. It's so good. I haven't picked it up till recently. There's quite a few things that I have underlined, and this is kind of the first time I was doing this with a book, is underlining. Like, it's spicy, it's grumpy, it's funny. I was like literally explaining the book to my mom over and over and over and over and over again. She was like, I don't need to be reading this book with you, but you really do need to pick this up. It's so good. It's a little chunky, but so worth it. Quick and easy to read. I think I finished it in like 2 days. The next is this little Benevolence series right here. This is the Pretend You're Mine series. This is the first book in the series. I finished all of these books in a day, and they're pretty chunky. Anything Lucy Score writes is gonna be a chunky one, but it's gonna be a good one. This one right here, 5 stars. Military, strong independent woman, spicy worth heck, and honestly just super sweet. Like, you kind of want to punch him at sometimes, but he's also very protective, very like, no, you're gonna do what I say, even though I'm literally in the middle of a war. I think that speaks enough for herself. This book right here is just his best friend, super sweet. She was in an abusive relationship, and then they went like friends to lovers to he's always had like a fire for her. And then this one's like another new girl in town, but she's the military this time, and he's a fire chief. And this one I was like, I don't really know if I'm gonna like this one. This one? Alright, now next to one of my favorite authors, Anna Hung. These are the only two books that I have. These are the only two books in the series I have. I actually have King of Pride or King of Greed, but it's right here and I have yet to read it. So this one is coming next. But right now I have read King of Wrath and King of Pride. This is the Kings of Sin series. Now this book series is all about like powerful businessmen. You kind of meet the first three people in this book right here, and this one is a marriage of convenience. This is an arranged marriage of convenience. So good. I would go back and reread this one, and it's just, oh my gosh. He calls her Mia Carta, which is my love in Italian. The things that this book would have you kicking your feet at. King of Pride is about his best friend from King of Wrath, his best friend. And honestly, pretty good. I don't remember a lot about this. I can't really remember a lot about this book, so I'm gonna have to definitely go back and read this one before I read King of Greed. But this first book in the series definitely started. This is a series that is continuous, so she's still writing them. If you can't already tell, I do really like to read series, and that's also just a lot of the things that are out currently. Like, you can't really find many standalones, and if they are standalones, I really wish they were series. So that's kind of just my life right now. Another one of my favorite Anna Hong series, you guys, the Twisted series. First off, love the spines. They just match perfectly and just make your aesthetic so much prettier. But all of these men in this book, okay, I don't really like Josh. Twisted hate, kind of hated it. But these three men have my heart. This book will have you on an emotional roller coaster. This is the first book in the Twisted series. This book will have you on an emotional roller coaster. You will hate this man. You will love this man. You will want to cherish him. You'll want to throw him off a cliff. But overall, you will just value him and love him, and just so good. And then honestly, like, I know a lot of people are very controversial about the first book, but book 2, Rye Larson makes you want to be a princess. He makes you feel like your own princess. But this entire series, honestly, even this book is so good. This is a very spicy, very protective series. So all the men are very protective of their girls. This is about a group of friends. There's 4 girls, 4 friends. And book 1 and book 3, these two are friends. And then they all kind of just become like one big group, one big fam. But these books will take you through an emotional roller coaster. They also raise your standards of men. Alright, this little double, like this little miniature series right here, from Hannah Grace. Loved this book, loved this series, loved whatever this is. But this one right here, Icebreaker, that you've probably seen all over TikTok. Worth the hype. Now, if you don't like spicy, whatever, like if you're not a spicy girly, you're gonna hate this, because that is pretty much all that's in here. Now, you get drama, you get whatever, but like, it is, I think on like chapter 3, you're getting some spice. And this is definitely not a teenage read. Don't pick either one of these up. This one took me a while to get into. I had to listen to the audiobook of this one for the first few chapters. Yeah, it kind of gave me like the TV show Bunked, like Disney Channel vibes. And I was 100% here for it. Like, I love a good summer church, like not church camp. I love a good summer camp vibe now. And I didn't really know how I felt about that before. Like, why are we at summer camp? But I loved it. Camp counselors, spicy, romantic, drama, like teenage confusion. That he was like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? What's happening? Really enjoyed it. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the third book in this series though. But I'm kind of excited. Okay, so another one of my favorite books right here is Every Summer After. This is that book that started this. Like, this is the book that started everything. Looking back, I still enjoy this book. It's really good. But it is very, very similar to another book I have, which I kind of like the other book better. This book has a little bit of spice, but it's more of like a then now perspective, and she has anxiety. She is like stressing about seeing this guy after all these years, and it's like childhood friends to lovers, and then like a rekindling of that. And it's giving very summer, very beach vibes. I kind of loved it. It was really good, but again, very similar to another book I have. Then we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. I understand the title of it because of the story plot line, but it felt like a small point of the story that we called it Beach Read. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It's about two authors that are having to write each other's books. So like she writes romance and he writes fantasy fiction, murder, like I don't even know what he writes. Literary fiction, that's what he writes. And she writes romance. But she's not feeling very romantic right now, and he is. So they're switching each other's books and having to write each other's books, and it's going pretty well. They get to connect on like certain missions for information for his books, and then they have to do romantic things to get him in the mindset for a romance author and a girl. And it is very sweet. You just kind of see these two old friends, stranger people, like growing a relationship together, and it's really sweet just because it's a very slow paced but very, very fun read. Next, this is The Same Time Next Summer. This one, picked it up on a whim. Actually really love this book. It's about two people that used to, I think they like used to be childhood friends, and forgive me, I've not read this book in a hot minute, but they used to be childhood friends, and then they kind of like had feelings for each other, but they never said anything. And then they kind of rekindle that when she moves back, but she has a fiance. But it is a very summertime book. They have a house on the beach, and they're next door neighbors, and they have a tree house, and it is very fun. It's very cozy, not really any spice. So if you're kind of picking this up, there's not any spice. It is a very short, quick read, but very, very good one. I do recommend. And then we have Better Than the Movies. This one is a very controversial one for me. I have enjoyed thoroughly a lot of books on my bookshelf. I know that this is a lot of people's ultimate favorite book. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I read it after one of my 5-star reads that I was just like, why? It was so slow. Why am I reading this? Like, this took me forever to finish. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. If you see another video from me about reading it again, I'm gonna give it another shot, but it wasn't it for me. It wasn't good. Now this one, I hate the cover of it so much. With a passion, I hate this cover. But it was a really, really good book. This is The Fill-In Boyfriend, and this is, honestly, I don't remember a lot about this book. They kind of went to the same school. I need to read this again. But she was going to prom, and then her date left her, and then she had to find this boy, and he was a brother from one of the girls that went to her school, and they kind of like started going to prom, and then I don't really remember much about that, but I do remember it was pretty good. It's just The Fill-In Boyfriend by Kaylee West. Let me know your thoughts, because I totally forgot all of mine. This book right here, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. If you don't know Christina Lauren's, two different people. Christina, and then Lauren. This one right here is very, very similar to Every Summer After. Every Summer After was kind of thought about after this book, but I recently reread this one. It's like a 6-star read for me. I'm here for it. I love this book. Childhood friends to lovers, then now perspective. Very, very small amount of spice, but I'm here for it. This book was so good. I love this book with a passion, and I will continue talking about this book till the day I die because it's so good. She's seeing him again, and she's like, why are you back? Why are you here? And then their rekindled relationship also is really sweet and really good. So I do really like this book a lot. Got about 3 more books to talk about. One of them is another one by Emily Henry. This is Happy Place. This one is a very summer vibes book. This one is based in a small town of a group of friends that's going out for their last big hurrah. They've had this like every summer beach vacation. Well, this is the last year that they're having it, and this couple has to pretend to be engaged because they were engaged. They broke up, but no one in their group knows about it, so they have to pretend to be engaged. Okay, I'm sorry. We got 3 more books. My camera battery keeps dying, so I'm gonna try and finish this as fast as humanly possible. Happy Place, again, such a good book. I 100% recommend it. I'm probably gonna do a video about rereads because going back through all these books, I'm like, this one was so good. There's like a very small amount of spice, but 100% worth it. It is so good. I don't like the hardcover though. It was so hard to read. I constantly just like kept taking this off because it didn't want to stay on, and I found out I don't like hardcovers. Well, after finding that out, I have a hardcover. So this is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is my first ever Colleen Hoover book, and I did kind of spoil this for me. I was watching TikToks about it. That's just kind of how I get interested in a book, and I found out some things about this book that I was like, what? But that didn't even hold a candle to what is actually in this book that you find out. So much happens that you're like, why? I loved this book. It was such a dramatic plot twist, keep you captivated book. The pages where she writes letters, that was not needed. She said the same thing 1,800 times. At one point I just, it's just I don't really care to read about it. So that's the one negative thing I have about this book, is that we didn't need the letters. The sequel, It Starts With Us. Loved every minute of it. This boy is my fan. Love him. He's super sweet to her, super deserving, but just the father in this book, and this is very vague for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Read this one first. If you're interested in Colleen Hoover, read this one, then read this one. And you'll kind of just love it a little bit more. You'll love it, you hate it. I don't know how to feel after reading these books, because this one I understand she was trying to be polite and sweet and like motherly, but I would have been like, not a shot. So a little contradictory, but it's okay. Well, that is all the books that I have to talk to you about. Again, if you guys would like to see a what's on my TBR, I can go ahead and do that for you, but comment that down below. And I hope you guys really liked my first book video. I kind of just wanted to talk with you about books, and especially about the ones that I have read. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you liked me talking a little bit about you with books. And if you want to see more videos by me and my little book collection, comment that down below. And I hope you guys like my brown hair. This is the first time I realized that y'all are seeing me with my brown hair. So if you liked today's video, make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, and comment down below if you want to see anything more by me. But that's it for today.